it's a changing environment, right? For you as a person, as a business, and you don't want it to catch you unawares, right? You don't want to catch you unawares. You have to stay ahead of the game. The way to win in life, the way to win in anything at all is always to be ahead of the ball game. Because when you're ahead of the ball game, it doesn't hit you suddenly, right? You are prepared for it. Again, we'll say that luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. When you're prepared for it, then luck is on your side. When you're not prepared for it, then luck is against you, right? We got it shared last week, and we said that luck looks at the face of who it goes to. Luck doesn't just go to everybody, right? But when you're prepared, luck is your friend. When you're not prepared, luck might be your enemy, right? And that's what Sun Tzu was talking about here in his book, The Art of War. Sun Tzu will tell you that if you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles, right? If you know the enemy, you know your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats, right? Strength and weakness, you. Opportunity and threats, the enemy, right? If you know that and you can plan to be able to address them, then you need not fear whatever's going on. You are ahead of the ball game. You're 5 steps, 10 steps ahead, right? When you know that. And it's not just to know it at the beginning. You have to keep abreast of it as it changes so that you can have the right plan, right mitigation to address whatsoever might have changed, right? That's important. And the other one, it says that if you know yourself only, yes, you know your strengths and weaknesses, but you don't know the opportunities and threats, right? For every victory you're going to suffer a loss, right? If you don't know yourself, if you know yourself and you don't know the enemy, you're at risk, right? There might be one government stipulation, one government edit, one government sanction or the other, and everything you're doing can just fall apart like a pack of cards, right? And the last part, he says that if you don't know yourself, you don't know the enemy, then you're in big trouble. Knowledge is important. Knowledge is important. And what you do with that knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is important, but it's potential energy. What you do with that knowledge is power, right? Your ability to turn knowledge, potential energy into power is thinking. In between it is thinking, the ability to organize data, the ability to reason data, the ability to collate data in its right segments in a usable form. The dictionary contains a lot of words, but the dictionary is useless. It cannot do anything. But what makes the dictionary powerful is someone who can go into that dictionary and take out the words, the right words for the occasion, right? Put them where they belong, right? And apply them. Then that dormant dictionary becomes power, right? Let's move it. So just to take another part of that, I was just reading one of my old quotes here by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it says, one ought never to turn one's back on a threatening danger and try to run away from it. And that's important, right? Don't forget, we talked about strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Because it's a threat doesn't mean that you run away from it, right? You can plan for it. You can use that threat to your advantage. Threats and danger are not for running away from. Again, just as much as not all opportunities are to be embraced, all threats are not to be run away from. You use them, you harness them. How can I use this supposed threat to my advantage, right? In every storm, there's a treasure. In every supposed danger, there's a treasure. There's an opportunity. It's your ability to understand it and see how you can harness it, right? So Ralph was just saying, I don't just run. The danger, just run. But that reminds me of a wedding I was in years ago when I was serving in I was serving here in Umar here, right? And I was at the wedding, and suddenly everybody just ran out of the hall, right? And we didn't know what it was, but everybody ran. Thank God nobody ran over the cake. The cake was still intact. It was only after we got out that we started asking ourselves what was wrong. To the best of my knowledge, I still don't remember what was wrong. There's probably nothing wrong, but someone started running and everybody ran out of the wedding hall, with that person. Don't just run, understand the situation, because you might be running into the trouble that you're supposed to be staying away from, right? And that's again emphasizing that need to think, right? Sally Oxford, has and says, if you're not constantly improving on the work you do, the people you know, and the brand you've created for yourself, then your market value goes down. So again, it's thinking. Your ability to continuously improve is your ability to think, right? We, for one, we're coming into a new farming year, and we need to change the way we get our farm workers, right? The last 1.5 years, we've gotten people from Cotonou, but we've overpaid them. I mean, like last year, we had to get motorcycles, right? For these folks, motorcycles cost 480,000 naira each, right? We didn't make that much money, but we still had to give it to them because that's what we committed to them at the beginning of the year. So we pretty much made a loss, right? So we're in this new year and giving motorcycle to anybody, right? It's just pay. So we're not at the mercy of inflation, right? Motorcycle guarantees inflation on the side of the worker, but for us, it puts us at a loss. So when here, what we do is not a charity. So just told everybody, we're not taking anybody to give motorcycles. That's gone with it. But yesterday, we're not doing that anymore, right? So you learn, you get better. We have 1.5 years we've been doing this. So in this new year, we're gonna learn, and we're gonna apply what we're learning, to our new year, hopefully to gain all that we have lost in prior years. And that's what we've done here. Started the year, we've gone ahead and we've put yam on the ground, even though we don't have farm workers, right? We have about more than 1,500 yam seedlings in the ground already. And we're going to have another one here in the next 1 week, if we can get labor to do that. All right. So yeah, for this year, for me, it's all about massive action. Like Tony would Tony Robbins would say, success is massive action. And that's my watchword this year, massive action. Right. So we have 1,500 of yam seedlings in the ground. We're going to do another 1,500, but this will not be yam seedlings, right? It'll be cut pieces, because the intent will be, if it doesn't grow big enough for sale, we'll use it as yam seedling for our next planting of yam, which will be in the middle of the year, right? So we've learned, we're getting better. We've learned, we're getting better. So that's another value you get by thinking and utilizing what you've learned, right? So we'll move on, and still just focusing on thinking. I love Carl Jung. Typically we typically what Carl Jung did right and say, thinking is difficult, therefore let the heart pronounce judgment. Someone says that's the original writing of what Carl Jung wrote or said. But the popular rendition of that really is the second one. It says thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge rather than think. They judge, right? Rather than processing data, they just pick an opinion, right? Opinion is cheap. Opinion will get you into trouble, right? Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion on everything, even the things they don't know. I remember a colleague of mine were discussing on something that I've worked on, something he's never seen before, yet he's arguing with me on something he has never seen before that I have worked on. That's gotta be crazy. Someone is arguing with me and something I have seen and worked on that he has never seen. That just tells you how people reason, right? Opinion is just you saying something. Opinion is cheap. Work with facts. Work with facts. That's the reason why we need to think. Process the data. Let whatever you're picking, let it have a foundation. Foundation of facts, not factless. Foundation of fact, not factless. That would help your life. Don't follow the head. They just want to go this way. You go this way. Right? They want you to follow them, whether you know what they are doing or not. That'll get into trouble. It's called following the followers game. You're following people who don't know where they are going, but you're just following them.